With this presentation I'll demonstrate how you can create an estimate from data imported from an external package, namely digital on-screen takeoff software or perhaps CADsoft Envisioneer. There are several digital on-screen takeoff packages that BuilderCost can import data from. In this instance I'm going to be demonstrating how we do that from PlanSwift. We can also do it from another very good on-screen takeoff package called Bluebeam Review. So let's launch PlanSwift and I can show you the plan we're dealing with. So here's PlanSwift. There's the foundation plan, and this is the veneer walls, a couple of internal walls, a couple of doors, windows, etc. Far from complete this plan, but for this demonstration and the purpose of what I'm wanting to demonstrate, this is perfect. So if I show you the foundation plan, there's the takeoff I've done as these 13 piers, the external footing, the internal thickening beams and the slab. And then on the internal or on the floor plan, I've done the ceiling, the internal walls, the external brick veneer, windows, doors, etc. So there's the actual items that I've taken off. I'm not going to give you a lesson on PlanSwift, but this is to show you how you import the data. If I go to the estimate here, you'll see that here's all the quantities. These are the items descriptions, their unit of measurement, their rates, and the totals extended cost. If I go to the report section, well, incidentally, we can export this as an Excel file and then save the Excel file as a CSV and import it, or save it as a tab separated file from that Excel file which we export to, which adds an extra step. But if we go to the report section, this same data in a report format, you'll notice there's export to CSV, and that's the export methodology we're going to use. So the takeoff's been completed for all intents and purposes. Export to CSV. This is a folder into which the data is going to be exported. Down here we'll give it a name. We'll just say PlanSwift test. Now it's important to follow that with an underscore, and I'm going to put PlanSwift behind it. So that's the file. We may get a message saying that file already exists, but I'll override it. We'll say save. No, it didn't, so there you have it. So now the data has been exported. I can just simply close PlanSwift here at this point in time. Now if we go to estimating, you'll see here we can import a tab separated file or a delimited file, or import a CSV. So if I say import a CSV, PlanSwift test is the file name I gave it, and I'll look up for CSV files, and there's PlanSwift test and the date that it was created, which is today at 11:29. So that's the actual file that was created just now. So we'll say open it. It's telling us any quantity in that incoming file that's got a 0 will be deleted because there's no value to us. So we say OK. Here we're asked, do we want to round the quantities? Well, we don't want to round it. There's not much sense rounding the quantities up, and then when we finish the estimate, if we add other items to it, rounding it again. So it's best to remove the round the quantities there, and just simply say OK. And there's the estimate now completed in here based on the assemblies and items that were imported from the CAD data. Now this is very useful and very quick way of creating your estimate. Now when you look at these jams here, if I go to these jams and I say edit that, you'll see here that there's only one 5.4 jam in there. You see that? And that was 110 millimeter jam. So I can, if at this time I want to change that, I can. If I want to change its rate, I can. I'll accept that. I'll just do a filter on the on these items here. Look at these window lintels here. Have a look at this one, for example. Edit the rate, and you'll see here there's two lintels of that size, one at 1.8 and one at 2.1. So all of those quantities will turn up attached to these items once we go to the edit mode. So if we go edit on this one, I can either select the row and click on edit, or double click on it here, and you'll see that they're all appended. Accept this one here, accept, and have a look at this one. Yep. French light sill, this is the external door, accept. This one here is just a little bit of battening around the windows at the soffit level. Door stops, accept. This one here, architrave, accept. This one, accept, accept. And there we've got all the quantities on here. If I want to see all of the items, you see we're only looking at 11 items here. Those that coincide with the rounding algorithm on these items, which is for timber. So we'll say reset the filter, and there you have it. To create this estimate, or to have a printed quantity output of the estimate, we can do that up here, view the bill of quantity. But at the moment, the first thing we need to do is set the margins for the job. So if I say set the margins, and we'll come here and we'll say you've got two options. Here we can put the profit, the overhead, in as a percentage. So if we said, oh, we want that to be 10% and the profit to be 15%, and we say OK, and we say print the bill of quantity summary, and you'll notice here that if I go to the last page, you'll see here that this is the cost, net cost excluding GST. So that's that figure here. This is the overheads calculated at that percentage, the profit calculated at that percentage. So there's a total excluding GST. This is a GST on that figure there, and this GST is the GST on those two figures here. So that's the total of the GST, which gives you the total of the estimate. Now if I go back here and I say, look, I don't want to use percentages for those totals, I say no, it allows me to put a lump sum in. So if I say, oh, I want to allow 3,000 for overheads, and I want to put, oops, it's 300, 3,000 for overheads, and I want to make a profit of say 7,000. Now when I print that bill of quantity, I'll go for the bill of quantity this time and say yes, and I go to the last page. You'll notice now that it's actually used the figures that I input as opposed to using a percentage of profit. So you've got a lot of options there. Now a couple of other things that are of importance. Before you complete this estimate, you would round the quantity. So if you look at the video doing the interactive estimate, you'll notice that I showed you how to do the rounding and why you do the rounding. So I'll just click on round the quantities. You'll notice the cost change a bit here when I round these up to their purchasable quantities. So they changed. Now if I want to calculate the project fees, in other words, you want to calculate things such as the BSA fees, the construction insurance costs, and work cover. Work cover wouldn't apply on this, that's the figure without the profit at the moment. So if I say calculate the fees, we'll say yes, it's done that. Now if I come down here, you'll find There's the Building Services Authority fee here. Here's a construction insurance, and as predicted, because it doesn't get up to the $80,000, so if I view the bill of quantity now, and you'll see here, there's a Building Services Authority, there's a construction insurance. If I go to the last page, you'll see that total only comes to 64,000. So the Q leave doesn't apply. Let's look at that a little bit closer. If I go to the Utilities section here, and I say go to the QBCC fees and settings, you'll see here that this is the item ID from the entry in the price list, and I'm telling it to start the calculation of the BSA fees after the contract price gets to $3,301. Here I can switch that off by saying no, I don't want it calculated. Here I'm telling the system to start Q leave calculations at 0.525% and start the calculation at $80,000. Now recently the Q leave percentage was changed and the starting price was changed, so you can simply change these figures here to get the actual calculation. Same as with the QBCC, you can say no if you don't want them calculated. And this one here, I've set up the construction insurance as 0.5% of the contract price. So also in here, if you say, oh, you just want to calculate the fees for any other estimate that may exist within builder cost or not, you can simply put in the contract price. If you said you had a contract price of $532,750, for example, there's your fees. So BSA fee, Q leave, and insurance. Now these fees are calculated on the contract price, not the net cost. So that's the contract price, perfectly the way the Act states it needs to be calculated. So there you have it. Now if you want to go to adjust those fees, you've still got a table in here of all the BSA fees. Now you can change them individually or alter them by a percentage if you wish. Annually I update those, and you only have to contact me to get the updated file. So that's how you calculate fees. I won't go into purchase orders at this point in time. We'll do that with this data at a later date. So there you have it. That's how you do an estimate from imported data from either a CAD package such as CADSoft and Visioneer, or PlanSwift, or Bluebeam Review, or other on-screen takeoff packages. So that's the end of this video.